Back, dear viewers, and as we are back to school, we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Anis Ahmad. He's a school principal,
Right,
and the
Ahmed.
importance of students getting committed from the first day of school is really inspiring for them, and it paves the way for their future also.
For sure, Mohammed. I think now all the rave is all about going back to school. All the parents are talking about it. And honestly, it's all we're seeing around us because, as you said, it's very important for kids, especially kids that have never been to school, going to kindergarten. So it's a big deal. Everyone's getting ready for it.
Exactly.
And this evening's guest that will join us shortly in the studio, of course, will be able to tell us about everything and all the parents, of course, watching to do with school, Mohammed.
Definitely, Rita. And before we have our second guest of the evening, let's go and check our third report of the evening. That's about heritage. Let's have a look at it, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
التنكة, البرمة, الحب, and الزمزمية were tools used by ancient people of Kuwait to save water and transport the water from place to place. These were made of pottery, tin, aluminum, leather, and others. In those days, the Kuwaitis used to rely on themselves to bring water to their homes or through al-Kandari, which performed this task using tools, which were either manufactured inside Kuwait or were imported from abroad. One of the most popular tools for water transport or conservation was tenaka, which was a tin container with a capacity of 4 gallons or 18 liters of water. These tin containers were originally brought to Kuwait from India. They were housed in special warehouses and then were distributed to consumers. When these tin containers were emptied, they would be reused for storing and transporting water to houses by Kandari or ordinary people. Kandari or other people who transported and sold water used these empty tin containers to transfer water from the public wells to houses. The owners of foreign water transport vehicles used the tin containers to transport water from Shatt al-Arab to the houses. Another water transport tool that people used was called the tib, a large water bucket made of aluminum or tin-plated steel with a half-circle carrying handle, and were often imported from outside of Kuwait. Another tool utilized for water storage and conservation was called al-burma, a large hollow clay pot that could accommodate about 5 gallons of water. In summer season, they would fill it with water to keep it cool for consumption. Its top was open but covered with a filter or a plate to keep insects and dirt from falling into it. It had a small opening with a small nozzle for draining water out of it. Al-Burma, along with other clay pottery products, were made in ancient Kuwait, near Al-Sharq cemetery. Sometimes they were imported from other countries. Clay pots are porous. Water kept inside seeps out and wets the outer surface. Dry air outside helps in evaporation of this water. The latent heat of evaporation is taken from the pot and the water inside. Thus even warm but dry air of inland areas make the water cool. Desert air coolers based on the same principle are also very popular. Al-Hib was a large clay water jug with round nozzle. Its bottom was circular shaped and its top had a large circular opening for pouring water. They come in various sizes used by Kuwaitis to store drinking water, and because it was made from clay, it kept the water cool. They would keep these under shades and place them on special stools, and they used wooden lids to cover its top and prevent contamination by small animals. Zamzamiya were small portable water containers or jugs made from tin metal covered with a special sheet made from wool. They called it Zamzamiya because travelers who went to Mecca for pilgrimage would fill it with Zamzam water and bring it back as gifts.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and our second guest of the evening is Dr. Anis Ahmad, school principal. Good evening, Doctor. It's really a pleasure to have you with us on AziadiQ8.
Thank you.
Good evening.
It's
and
a pleasure to be here.
Thank
Pleasure is
you.
ours.
It's a pleasure to have you, of course, especially that schools are now starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Doctor, we would like to know first if you can tell us and tell the audience about your background and describe it in a brief way, please.
Actually, I'm in Kuwait for the last 22 years.
That's great.
And I've been heading since 2001. I've been heading the schools as a principal, as director, and now, of course, Kuwait is a wonderful country.
Thank you so much.
The Indian schools are already open, actually.
Definitely.
We have students back to school.
Great. That's
yes,
really great.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So speaking about students going back to school, will you please, Doctor, tell us more about the preparations of parents and students before they go to school?
Yeah, actually, if I tell you, Kuwait is the country where we have very long vacations.
Exactly.
It's almost 2.5 months. If we talk about beginners, it will be a different kind of preparation. And if we talk about the other students who are already with the school, when they are coming back to school, it will be a different kind of preparation.
Exactly.
For the beginners, yes, of course. Most of the schools, they organize orientation programs for parents. And the parents, they must attend those orientation programs to know about the school, to know about the teacher, to know about the class. And then they would understand better. But for the other children, yes, before the school, before they come back to school, they should visit the school, they should visit the class where the child is going to be. And actually there are many other things which they have to do.
That's
like
great.
there have been long vacations, so they must read books to the children. They must ask the children to read, and they must go for shopping.
Exactly.
Usually schools, they send a circular what actually is required to bring, that the children they have to bring. So they must go shopping accordingly. So these are the things, and I'm sure the parents, they should talk about what they have been missing all these months, 2.5 months or 3 months. They should talk about their friends, they should talk about their teachers, about their schools, so that children are mentally prepared for back to school.
Exactly.
These things must be done.
Definitely, especially orientation, as you said, getting the parents to know the school so that they're able to help their children, of course, at home. And parents are usually very hands-on, So what are the most frequent questions asked by them, usually, by the parents to the school?
Usually I have seen, they would be asking about the name of the teacher.
Yes.
They would like to know who is the next teacher for their children. Sometimes they have problems. They may ask about the transport issues. They may ask about that. But usually they would ask about the class teacher. They would ask about sometimes they ask about even where the child is going to sit in the class, which class, and where will be the seat of the child. Usually these are the questions which they usually ask.
The expected questions.
And they're more worried about the teachers. They want to know about the teachers.
Exactly.
Teachers are a very important part
Definitely,
of the school. So what about technology? Technology is now all around us, and now sometimes it's even being used heavily in schools. So how can parents help their children with technology if they're not ready to use it or are not aware of it yet? Especially in Kuwait, we have a lot of expatriates. We have many families who are nucleus families. Yes.
So there are issues with the nucleus families. So when in the school we have the children, they come and they sometimes have problems in the classroom about mixing with other children and all that. But schools have first of all teacher is as competent authority. Teacher is qualified. They have studied child psychology, so they understand what are the problems with the child. So they have an interaction with the parents.
Right.
And then sometimes the case is referred to the school counselor also. And we can surely handle. It is a matter of both the parents and the school together. They have to understand the child's needs. Ultimately, our object is the child.
Yes.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, Doctor, let's speak in general. What is the role of the school, like the principal and the teacher in the classroom, if the student starts to struggle socially?
Yeah, you know, schools, they are full of activities, you know, especially in classroom. Nowadays, classroom teaching is not one-sided. You know, teacher herself organizes so many activities in the classroom. The children, they mix with each other. So, of course, the school has a very, very important role in that, especially in socializing in the classroom. You will see that the teaching is nowadays based on activities.
Yeah.
So children, when they come to school, they feel like coming to school every day.
Yes.
I'm sure, you know, on weekends also they feel they miss their school, they miss their classroom, they miss their friends. And especially when it is long holidays like summer holidays, they miss the school like anything. So they all want to be back to school.
Exactly.
Yes.
Especially if they don't have any like clear plan when it comes to the summer vacation. So, doctor, let's imagine now it's Thursday and the bell rings and it's time to go out because it's noon already. We see some students smile and they're happy because it's the weekend. Some of them are not smiling, and if you ask them why, they might say we have assignments or homework, but they do not understand the importance of the assignments and homework, how it might develop their mentality at the future.
Yeah.
So will you please tell us more, how important is the assignments and homeworks for students?
No, certainly the homework and assignments are very important actually. Homework, of course, you know, in the school they have a limited time of around 6 hours they spend in the school, and rest of the hours, out of 24 hours, they are at home. So, you know, whatever they learn in the class, you know, when they go home and they do some homework, it's a kind of revision for them.
Exactly.
Assignments, you know, ultimately have a different role, because assignments are given so that they start thinking out of the box.
Exactly.
It's not exactly what the content is there in the chapter,
Well
but
said, Doctor.
it's something out of that. So
Exactly.
they start thinking out of the box, and their vision is broadened, you know, when they think about, and you know, they have to explore the world, they have to explore so many things, they
Exactly.
may go here and there to complete their assignments. It's learning by doing,
Exactly.
and they
course.
do their assignments. That is the basic purpose of giving assignments to the children.
Definitely.
And I'm sure they really enjoy when they do assignments.
Exactly. If
And-
they dedicate themselves to do it, they will be more creative also. Doctor.
Yeah.
For sure. And you mentioned something really important, which is children actually spending most of their 24 hours out of the school, so at home, which means with their parents. What are tips that you can give parents to support their children with their study and their homeworks?
I have seen one very big issue in Kuwait actually, as a principal, as an educationist, as a teacher, that the parents in nucleus families where both the parents are working, the mother, the father, both are working, and usually the children are with the nannies at home. Now what I always advise the parents, that at least they should have a meal together in the evening, at least dinner they should have together. They should sit with the child, you know, they should talk to the child about the school, how the child has spent the days, you know, the hours, 6 hours in the school, about the friends. That is how the parents should help the child. It's not always that the parents, they have to arrange a tutor
Right.
to help in homework or assignments. This is what we see, that many parents, they approach us, they are looking for some tutor. I would advise, don't go for a tutor. Just sit with the child, give some time to the child, and I'm sure the child would do. Tutor is not required.
Of
Exactly.
course,
So,
children.
That's the only advice which we always give to the parents, that please spend some fruitful time with your child and talk to the child about, you know, the day that the child has spent.
Exactly. I think that's really great advice, and parents are doing their best, Muhammad, trying
Yes.
to make time for their children and their career. So what are the major concepts that children should know about by the end of the year, end of the school year?
You know, it will differ from class to class, because we can't talk, because there is, the syllabus is a graded structure. No, it's based on a particular structure. For example, if we come to the kindergartner, you know, the beginners, you know, we come to that, then naturally by the end of the year we would expect that the children, they have learned some numbers, they can recognize the alphabets, they can recognize few, maybe 2-letter words or 3-letter words they can recognize by the end of the year. And for other classes, naturally, it will go on.
Right.
You know, we have a set syllabus, structured syllabus, where we expect that, okay, this is the beginning of the year, this is what we know that the children are expected to know, and by the end of the year, they will be expected to know this much. So, and in the meantime, we go on having, you know, conduct many assessments, we do that by the end of the year. And the ultimate aim is to know whether the child has really grown, the child has really learned those concepts or not. And naturally in language it will be different, in mathematics it will be different, in science it will be different. So it differs from class to class. But it is a structured syllabus, and by the end of the year we expect them to finish that and to learn that.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for all the information and even advice you have given us and all the parents watching this evening, and good luck for the school year that has just started, Doctor.
Exactly. We wish you, Doctor, the best of luck with the school year and the calendar, and hope everything goes excellent and amazing. Thank you so much, Doctor. It was really a pleasure to have you with us on Hala Kuwait.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure to be here with you all this pleasant evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, we just had with us Dr. Anis Ahmad, school principal. Let's go now to our first report of the evening. It's about one of the main attractions in our lovely country, Kuwait. It is about the Scientific Center. Let's have a look at it. Stay tuned.